Um, feels like it feels like we lost a game. Um, we and it's not really our expectation was to come in here and win the game, and we knew we had to not turn the ball over, and we knew we had to try to get at least plus or at least even with them in the takeaway department. And we had to play good football and make some plays. And, we had a turnover in a critical situation. We had a critical penalty against on a punt. And those types of things can, that's how these types of games are decided. So it feels like a loss, and feels like we have a lot of motivation to get back to work for our next opponent.
Mike, it looked like the game plan was to try to run the football, pound the football, but you did a pretty good job of that. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, there was some good moments. I think the guys ran hard. I think Devon and Ollie and guys were connected against a high strain team, which leads to some extra yardage. There's some, you worry when I think it was the second quarter. You get a couple 3-and-outs, and you get a little frustrated not being able to get the opportunities. But guys made the most of them. We got to improve to get this in the right direction.
The late interception, anything you wanted to do differently? Anything you wanted to or to do differently?
Yeah, I wanted to protect the ball. I wish I could, I think the quarterback has to be responsible for it. However, I wish I could just put it on him, but I think it's a tough job to do when there's someone in your face. We need everybody needs to do better, and we can't. If you got to ditch the ball to the flat in moments like that, and that's what we have to learn from.
What's your frustration after 3 games of not having a win and just feeling like you're getting better every week, but it's just not turning out your way?
Yeah, I would say that it's frustration that turns to focus. I would say that I'm very focused and motivated to continue eliminating things that cost us games. And you have a young team, a lot of people that you're counting on, and you need them to not be young for very much longer and continue to grow. But I would say focus, because I know I have a locker room that is all in to grow through the process, and that's there's some tough lessons or tough things you have to deal with in the National Football League, and to be successful in it, you have to not have things. I say it all the time, but you can't have things just cause you failure and it be in vain. You have to have consistent growth, and you have to be able to go through tough times and not splinter. And so the team has shown me that, and we'll need that to get the results that we want. And I think that's the biggest thing is a collective focus on our game to continue to improve it so that we can be on the right side of the win column.
Mike, a guy like Zach Sealer, team captain, obviously knows he messed up right away when it happens. What do you say to a guy like that who, again, probably knows the extent of what he just did?
Well, I think for me, I'm always starting top down with myself. I'm very critical on myself, and hold all of the coaches accountable for putting players in situations. And that particular one was unfortunate because the intent of the play was not to get Zach Sealer to block the punt. He was trying to speed up the process of the punter by a bull rush on the long snapper, and he was a little too successful in that. So he was kind of scot-free staring at the punter, and I don't need to say anything in the moment to make him worse. It's not like I'm worried about him doing it again, but you have to, you're as good as your leaders allow you to be with things of their own failure. So what do I mean by that? We're gonna have to teach off of that when we watch film together as a team, and that's the way he conducts himself, and the type of player and leader he is. He'll have no problem with that, because he knows ultimately, if you're doing it right, you have coaches saying that you shouldn't put them in that situation, and you have players saying, well, if I'm in that situation, I need to avoid the non-negotiable. The defense worked hard to get that stop. Sealer was a part of that, so it's unfortunate. We have to learn from it, and that's the nature of the NFL.
Mike, you talked about young players. You played a lot of young players, and you're going to have growing pains with those young players. Do you see the value of those guys that are week by week are getting more stable and doing what you want to do, to where they want to be at?
It's critical that in those types of situations that you have the right people that learn from things and are the right tough-minded individuals. Like, I'm frustrated in the moment and mad about like a legal man downfield with Jonah. But I know that he's a tough-minded individual that holds himself extremely accountable. So when your young guys are like that, you have a chance to improve, although it's frustrating in the moment. I think the guys we are playing are extremely tough-minded. That's why they're here, and that's why they're getting those opportunities, because and I think the veteran players know that they're worth the growing pains, but at some point you have to stop that if you're trying to win football games, specifically in a road environment like Buffalo provides, and the division leader, and they've held the division for a while, and to beat them you have to do sound, good football things. It's not a coincidence they have an NFL record for plus minus consecutively. I think it's 25 games now that in a row, that and that's a hard lesson, but a real lesson. And if you want a different outcome, particularly the next game or the next time you play those guys, you have to learn from it. And I gotta make sure that we have a very beneficial couple extra days between our Monday night, and we're gonna have to get back in the meeting room and start the process again in terms of how we take the lessons from the last game and utilize them. Realistically, you got to do that win or loss, because the only teams that you want to be a part of are the ones that continue to improve as the season progresses. So not good enough as it stands, but we have a ton of season left, and every opportunity is not one to take for granted.
Mike, I know it's everybody's job to come out, coach, come out and play, so you can't get too high or low, but after a week with all the outside noise that there was, your
Um, I'm not. I'm never proud of a loss, and I'm not. We came here to win, and I refuse to take moral victories as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. It wasn't good enough, so that's where I'm at.
The opening drive, just setting the tone there, Ollie Gordon getting involved in the run game. What went into just scripting that first drive? I assume scripted and just setting the tone.
Well, I think there was an effort to try to distribute the ball and get some of our guys involved. They put a lot of attention on and pretty much double Tyreek and Jalen all game. So you have to have some people step up and inflict their will. And I thought Ollie did a really good job. It's kind of what I expected. He's really worked hard at being able to be out there by knowing his assignments and all of his off-ball stuff. So I think it was an effort to get numerous players involved, and I think they took advantage of that, and it was why we were able to have some success on that drive.
How was Jason Marshall doing? What's the sign?
I'll find out more tomorrow. I don't know too much. I think it's soft tissue, and that's all I got.
Replacing Keon Smith with Daniel Brunskill, what were you seeing in that team?
It was an in-game situation where we felt like we had a guy in Dan Brunskill that simply in this game against this opponent on this day, we thought he gave us a better shot, and so we made the move without hesitation, and that was, that happens from time to time. I expect Keon to rebound from that, and as I know, it's very important to him, and he knows he can play better.
I wanted to ask about opening up the playbook with that lateral play. Kirk Herbstreit was talking about it's not just that play, but how it opens up the next one, which we saw successful fourth down. What led to going that deep into the playbook in that one?
It was 3rd and 16, I believe, and I figured if we needed a play to get at least 10 yards, hopefully 11 to get it, in a 3rd down or a 4th down situation, where I thought we had a good call for the various defenses they play. So it was just a matter of needing the yards, knowing that they were going to be super soft and it was going to be difficult to get those. So we had to utilize all of our preparation.
Mike, how do you feel about the production that you're getting out of your tight end group through 3 games?
I think there's different roles for players, and all productivity with all 11 has to do with all 11. So the jobs I've asked them to do, I think they've done a good job. I think there's been like situations. Julian Hill had a major play that was called back. They did a good job in protection and in the run game, and there's a lot of mouths to feed on in terms of ball distribution. So I think they've done a good job with what they've been asked, but I think those are kind of the roles that I envisioned for them, and they'll get more production as we go and as we develop. But I'm not looking at straight numbers. I'm looking at play for play, how they're impacting stuff. So I feel all right we need to get better across the board. So I'm not going to sit here and say that anything's really good. We haven't won a game yet, so we got work to do to get one of those.
Last question.
What can you say about what it's like to face Josh Allen on the other side?
It's You're very pumped when you're able to get a stop. He is, he makes you defend the entire field almost on every play because he can throw it as far as anybody. But you have to be very sound in your rush lanes, otherwise he'll run for it too. So he's a really good player, and he a part of a really good team, and you got to bring your best to beat him. And today we didn't have quite our best, so we'll go back to the drawing board, and hopefully our best shows out next week against the Jets.